Hello, Lou Hamilton of Audible Elegance. My store is in Cincinnati, Ohio. We do work on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I also write a monthly blog. I have a special one coming up in December. And we'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you can. It's a simple click of a button. You don't pay anything, and we don't do anything with the information, but it's nice to see I have a growing audience. Today, I thought I would continue on the topic of corporate ownership of companies. One was just brought to my attention involving Denon, Marantz, Klipsch, Pioneer Elite. The list goes on and on. And these are known as legacy audio brands, which I grew up with, and so did many other people. And what it's talking about is what has happened to the marketplace between pre-COVID, then COVID itself, and post-COVID. And what happened with a number of these recognized name brands is that as their numbers grew, their value grew, and so large sums of money was spent in acquiring them. In the case of Sound United's collections of brands, they dropped a whopping $1.532 billion on the deal. And what's happening is the sales of those brands are fundamentally collapsing. COVID had a weird effect on many companies, and post-COVID has been anything but settled. And so what's happening is that they're finding themselves essentially in a cash flow squeeze. And now, whether some of those companies will be tanked or not is yet to be seen. Whether they'll be sold off to others, again, that's hard to say. But some of these companies are like millions of dollars in the red, and it's not getting better. So there's references to several brands essentially being already discontinued. And what this means long term for the consumer, as well as the dealers, is questions about who owns them and what type of quality is going to be produced, but also what type of product support will be provided. Clearly, one of the options in bankruptcy, if it ever came to that, which I don't see it, is to essentially void all prior obligations, which could potentially include warranties. That's kind of like the ultimate catastrophic disaster, and I don't see that, but it is an option. So, this article from Headphone and Audio News featured an opinion. It's talking about Denon, Marantz, Klipsch, and Pioneer could disappear as soon as 2025. Although I don't give them credit for being leaders in high-end sound. But this is what's happening throughout the industry. And I mentioned, I'm not part of the old guard, and I mentioned how Roy Gandy at Riga looks to continue his, company in the future. But when these companies, these major brands get bought and sold based upon potential values or multipliers, whatever, and the market shifts in a different direction, they can get caught off base. I was a lawyer for a company that, in fact, got caught off base, owing tens of millions of dollars, and eventually the company did go bankrupt because there was no option. So what's going to go on going forward? Consumer behavior is going to be interesting. So it's just kind of one of the market news right now, because there's going to be definitely some disruptions in what's going on and what's considered, stock name brands. So watch the news and see what goes on. There we are.